Hello, dear students, and welcome to a new lesson for English learners in grade 7. My name is Sanja Božinović, and I will be your English teacher today. Our today's lesson is My Decisions. In today's lesson, you will hear a boy called Matthew. He will talk about his New Year's resolutions. You will create and present your own poster about your decisions, and you will be using the structures to express the future. I hope you will enjoy today's lesson. Here are the outcomes for today's lesson. To start working on today's lesson, you need your device with the internet connection, your QR code scanner, your notebook, and a pencil. If you have all you need for today's lesson, let's start. Decisions. Have you made any decisions that you would like to share with your classmates and your teacher? Do you know the word decision? Do you know the word resolution? Have you heard of the term New Year's resolutions? Please copy all 3 words in your notebook. We start with the vocabulary study. What is a resolution? Look at the illustration, it can help you. If you think you know the definition, you can write it in your notebook, or you can copy the definition that you will see on the right-hand side of the slide. New Year's resolution is a promise that you make to yourself to start doing something good or to stop doing something bad on the first day of the new year. What are some common resolutions? What do people usually decide to change? In your notebook, write some ideas. Matthew is one of the people who usually make their New Year's resolutions. On this slide, you will find the link and the QR code to his presentation of a poster, and you will see his poster on the left-hand side. My Decisions, Matthew. Please scan the code or use the link to listen to his presentation of the poster and complete the poster with the information you hear. Copy the parts of the poster in your notebook, listen to his presentation, and do this task. Here are some ideas. Did you hear Matthew speak about these facts and ideas? Did you hear Matthew speak about the year behind him, in which the highlights were his progress in English, his struggle with maths, and his failure to ask a girl called Maria out? Did you hear Matthew speak about his plans for the new year, to study maths with Maria and to be brave and ask her out too, and then to join the school sports club? And did you hear his conclusion? He says, "It will be a brilliant year." Now look at your notes, the notes in your notebook, and look at the notes on this slide. Think, did you choose any other highlights? Did you choose any other plans? Finally, what do you think? Do you think that making a poster is helpful when you want to reflect, when you want to plan? How about you? Is the last sentence that Matthew says in his presentation. How about you really? What were your highlights of the past year in your life? In your notebook, draw this table. Write the year behind me, things that didn't go well, and my successes. List your ideas first and then complete them into the table. What were the highlights of the year that is over for you? What was the hardest thing? What was your best idea in the last year? When you talk about the year that is over, you use the simple past. Why the simple past? Because you talk about the ideas, the events, the things that happened in the past and stay in the past. And then you can talk about your accomplishments, your successes and failures. And then you look at the time from the past year until the present moment when you talk. And you say, I have accomplished, I have managed, I have succeeded, I have done something, or I haven't yet. Then be careful to use the present perfect. If you are not sure about when to use the simple past, when to use the present perfect, go back to your grammar lessons about the simple past and present perfect and make sure you understand the difference. That is very important. Then we must look into the future and make plans. What are you going to do better or differently in the new year? What do you think you will start, or what do you think you will improve significantly in the new year? What promises do you have for the next year? Please pause this video in your notebook, write your ideas. You will need them for your poster. Let's analyze a few sentences from Matthew's speech. They can be helpful for making your speech, for making your presentation and your poster. Matthew says, I'm going to talk about my New Year's resolutions, his intention, and a very good beginning of a presentation. Then he speaks about his intentions to make things better in the future. He says, I'm going to ask Maria to help me. Do you remember what Maria is going to help him with? Yes, that's maths. An instant decision. I won't hesitate. I will not. I won't hesitate to ask Maria out. And a promise. I will start reading books in English. I'll join our school club. Which club is that? It's a sports club. And then something that he has already arranged and he is sure it's happening on Monday. I'm borrowing my first book on Monday. Please notice 3 different structures in these 6 sentences and think if you can explain why Matthew has used these structures in his sentences. If you're not sure, you can copy the sentences and get back to them later on. To speak about your plans for the new year or your plans for the future, you must think what kind of plans they are. They can be spontaneous plans decided at the moment of speaking. They can be decisions and promises, and then you use will. I'll start working on it right away, you can say. Then you can have plans decided before the moment of speaking, your intentions, like in the first 2 sentences of Matthew's speech. I'm going to visit my cousins in Ireland, you can say. And then you can have some plans that are arrangements that are already confirmed, like in the last sentence from Matthew's poster. I'm meeting Mia, Anna and Jan for a game of tennis at the weekend. That has already been arranged and confirmed, and you can use the present continuous, even if it's future. When you express the future, there are 3 forms that you use most of the time. You can use subject plus will, or will plus subject to ask. You can use subject plus MR is and going to plus verb. Or you can ask subject MR is plus verb ending in ing. Do you know what we call these 3 forms? If you are not sure how to form the sentence, you can copy the content of this table in your notebook. Of course, the first form is will or simple future. The form in the middle is going to future. And the third form is present continuous. Let's practice asking and answering questions using these three forms. Think of a few questions using going to future. Ask your friend or ask yourself about your intentions to do things in the future. Are you going to visit? Are you going to start? Are you going to play? What are you going to? Who is going to? Of course, for closed questions, your answer must be yes, I am. No, I'm not. If you're not sure about the form, you can copy these beginnings and these answers in your notebook. Then try asking questions using the simple future. Will you? What will you do? Where will you go? Who will be there? Of course, don't forget, if somebody asks you a closed question, you say, yes, I will. No, I won't. Copy a few examples in your notebook. There will be some situations that you must talk about things that you have already confirmed, that you're sure will happen in the future, some future arrangement. Then you can use present continuous. Are you meeting? Are you learning? Are you having? Who is? When are you? Yes, I am. No, I'm not, is the answer for the questions that begin with are you? Of course. Think of a few questions and copy them, write them in your notebook. If you're sure how to form and when to use the questions in simple future, going to future, and the present continuous for expressing the future, let's play. You have two answers on this slide. Your task is to think of at least two possible questions. If the answer is painting, what could be your questions? If the answer is my best friend, what could be your questions? Remember, the topic is New Year's resolutions, and the forms to use are simple future, going to future, and present continuous to express the future. Good luck! What will this new year be like? Here are some adjectives that have only the first letter written. Can you think of 6 positive adjectives and 6 adjectives that are, let's say, a bit negative? You can see the signs of plus and minus in this table. Pause this video for a moment and think. Can you write 6 positive and 6 negative adjectives to describe a year in your life? When you think of an adjective, think of an explanation too. Why would you say that the year is like that? Pause this video and do this exercise in your notebook. Look, here are the adjectives. The new year will be brilliant. It will be cheerful, dynamic, exciting, exceptional, lucky. Maybe it will be boring, catastrophic, disastrous, miserable, uncertain, unpromising. Copy these adjectives in your notebook and think of the reasons why somebody would say that the new year will be like that. For example, you can say, it will be dynamic because I'm going to take up a lot of new activities. Pause the video and complete this exercise. Let's practice this vocabulary a little bit more. Can you match all the adjectives from the previous slide and their definitions? Scan this code and do the task. If you are not sure of the correct answers, you can see them on the right-hand side of this slide. Brilliant means full of light, shining, bright. Cheerful is happy and positive. Dynamic means that you have a lot of ideas and enthusiasm. Exciting is what makes you feel excited. Exceptional means unusually good. Lucky, having good things happen by chance. Boring, not interesting. Catastrophic, causing sudden and great harm, destruction. Disastrous, extremely bad, unsuccessful. Miserable means unhappy, very unhappy. Uncertain, when you are not able to decide about something. And unpromising, when you don't have any signs that something will be enjoyable or successful. Copy the adjectives, and if you are not sure, you can copy their definitions too. When you have studied the adjectives from the previous exercise, let's check. How many of these adjectives can you use in your own sentences? Remember, our topic is New Year's resolutions. One of the examples can be to use the adjective exceptional. You can say, I'm going to see the Nutcracker at the theater, and I'm sure the performance will be exceptional. A reminder, the QR code if you need to get back to the exercise and practice matching the adjectives and their definitions. It's time for your own poster. You will create your own poster and you will give it the title, My Decisions. You will write and talk about the year behind you. Please choose a few highlights of the year, the most important things that happened during the year, your accomplishments and your failures. Then choose some plans for the next year. Remember the structures. And finally, think of some of the adjectives and pick one or more that are appropriate for your conclusion about what you think the year will be like. Add text, add your illustrations, and try to make a logical, tidy, and creative poster about your New Year's resolutions. This checklist will help you organize your poster. Go through this checklist and check that you have added all the important parts to your poster. When you have all the ticks, you are ready. The poster will help you organize your 1-minute talk. Organize your talk into an introduction, the middle part, and the conclusion. Pay attention to your grammar and vocabulary. And finally, practice until you're happy with your pronunciation and fluency. This rubric will help you with your 1-minute talk. Pay attention to the topic and organization, vocabulary, grammar, and pronunciation, and the fluency of your 1-minute talk. Good luck! The last activity in today's lesson is your exit ticket. Read the questions that you can see on this slide and answer them in your notebook. When you finish, that's the end of today's lesson. I hope you have enjoyed today's lesson and learned something about making your New Year's resolutions. Goodbye until our next lesson.